For the beginning of this new year, I've decided to talk about one of the most important things of your life, that is your future, or more precisely, about how to create the future you really want. For me, the future is not a place you go to, but a place you create. And in order to do this, you need to master two essential skills, namely leadership and management. Even if a lot has been written on the topic, many people still confuse these two competences, which are complementary but distinct. First, I will explain how to develop each of these skills, and then I will highlight their main differences. Of course, my big inspiration here comes from the Bible of self-development, namely the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. The essence of leadership is to have a clear vision of what you want to accomplish, or, as Covey says, to begin with the end in mind. This means that before you even start setting objectives and try to reach them, you'd better clarify your values and find your own definition of success. Otherwise, it's incredibly easy to get caught up in an activity trap, in the busyness of life, to work harder and harder at climbing the ladder of success, only to discover it's leaning against the wrong wall. It's possible to be busy, very busy, without being very effective. Covey gives an interesting image of leadership. He points out that things are in fact created twice. First, there's the mental creation, and then the physical creation. For example, when you create a house, you have to create it in every detail on paper before you start hammering the first nail. It's the same thing for a book, an enterprise, a meeting, or any project. What distinguishes a leader is the fact that he takes charge of this first creation. He writes his own scripts. In other words, he is proactive and doesn't leave the first creation to circumstances or other people. By the way, for Covey, the best way to fully participate in the first creation of your life is to write a personal mission statement, like businesses do. If this first creation represents leadership, the second creation is achieved through management. The best management habit you can develop is to put first things first. And your first things or priorities are defined by your leadership, like I just described. And from experience, I know that for a professional manager, this is far from easy, because your attention is constantly required by everyone everywhere. However, Covey provides a wonderful tool to acquire this habit. It is the time management matrix, which sorts out your activities according to their level of importance and their level of urgency. Most people that have not acquired this habit will operate in the first and third quadrants because they're controlled by what is urgent. Urgent matters are usually right in front of you and they insist on action. You react to urgent matters. Important matters, on the other hand, will contribute to your mission and priorities, but require more initiative and proactivity. You must act to seize opportunity and make things happen. If you don't develop personal leadership, if you don't have a clear idea of what's important, of the results you desire in your life, you are easily diverted into responding to the urgent. Covey also notes that as long as you focus on quadrant 1, that is crisis management and problem solving, it keeps getting bigger and bigger until it dominates you. However, if you focus on quadrant 2, which includes, among other things, long-term planning, prevention, human relationships, physical exercise, quadrant 1 will shrink and you will be definitely more in control. By the way, all 80-20 activities, which I mentioned in a different presentation, are quadrant-two activities. Let me finish this description of management with Covey's analogy of the jar, which I love. After placing many rocks in a jar, you can still add pebbles, sand, and water. However, If you don't place the rocks first, none of them will fit. First things first. Big rocks are your high priority activities. Pebbles, your secondary priorities. Sand, your low priorities. And water, the stuff from the urgent but not important quadrant. For optimum productivity, you load up the jar with the big rocks, then pebbles, and then sand. If there is room left, you can add some water. The moral of the story is that if you don't put the rocks first, they won't fit at all. So, what distinguishes leadership from management? Simply put, leadership is doing the right things, while management is doing things right. In a way, we can say that leadership is more important than management. Indeed, what you do is more important than how you do it. If the runner wants to be the winner, he must first do the right thing, that is, run in the right direction. After that, the second step is doing things right, which means running as fast as possible. In conclusion, like Covey, I invite you to develop your personal leadership and management. First, by stopping everything to think about what road you want to take. And then by focusing on activities that will make you progress in that direction. Thank you for watching this presentation, and see you soon.